Oh, that's amazing. Oh God, I've got goosebumps again. She's looking for a sign. I think it might be her best, maybe. Even more than ever. Like, Jesus Christ, I don't know. Oh my God. Yeah, got something in me right there. This is really hard to get through. Hello, welcome to this video. My name's Dan, aka Lucent. I'm a singer-songwriter, music producer person, and today, it's the big day. I'm going to be reacting to Lana Del Rey's brand new album. Did you know that there's a tunnel under Ocean Boulevard? Let's go. So, it's the big one. We're all very hyped about this. I'm very hyped about this. The lead tracks were amazing, particularly aandw was just blew my mind. I've listened to it loads, I love it. So good. I've looked up the length of the album, it's an hour and 15 minutes. So we're in for the long haul. Strap yourselves in, guys. This is gonna be a long reaction. My Lana reactions are already long as it is, because I love to do, you know, all the lyrical analysis and stuff. But I have a question for you. Did you like the song that was playing in the intro? Because that was my song, and that was the song I Love You More. It is available to stream on all streaming platforms, or if you want to listen to it on YouTube and watch the lyric video, that is linked for you right there. Also, subscribe to the channel for more reaction content. I do a reaction every single week, and if you want to support me further, you can do on Patreon, where you can actually watch this video and all my videos uncut, and you can watch them early as well. The link is in the description for you. Okay, let's get on to this. I'm very excited to hear this. Right, okay, so this is song number 1. This is the Grants. Have not heard this. Let's go.
1, 2.
Ooh.
I'm gonna take
Ooh.
mine. Say it again. Mine of you.
I love this.
Ready.
Not what I was expecting. Love those vocals. Very beautiful. That kind of rich, deep, soulful sound. It's really taken me to like another form of like Americana, soul and gospel. Ooh. Oh, harmonies, yay. Oh, it's very that, isn't it? Let's just take it to a completely different key. So we're setting it up with like some classic Americana, and we're descending into something more dramatic.
Should I do a dance?
Okay. Wow. I love the bassy depth of this.
Is your memory, and I'm gonna take mine of you with me.
I'm gonna take, yeah, my memory of you with me. Okay. She's moving on from this person. God, ugh. Chords are so wonderfully beautiful. So evocative, isn't it? It's really cinematic. That's something you can be said of all of the music from this album so far.
I'm doing my time.
Do time.
For family life.
Oh, God. I'm doing it for us. I'm doing it for family life.
Do you think about me?
Wow.
And I wanna take.
Gorgeous. I love how, like, gorgeously kind of, like, nostalgic it is, but it is still moving forward, you know? Gorgeous. Oh, my God. That chord. Gorgeous. Oh my God. These like big chorus vocals are so wonderful. It does feel like she's drawing from like a little bit from gospel and that version of Americana in this, rather than the rock side of it, you know, that she's drawn from before. Oh, gorgeous. Fuck me. Oh my God, I loved that. Amazing opening with those women singing in harmony at the beginning, like, and I love like the kind of ad hoc nature of it. Feels like a real kind of just people kind of rehearsing, like messing around with the choir room type thing, and then descending into this song that it links it to that original section through like this kind of version of Americana that she seems to be pointing towards, with the big harmony vocals, with the mentions of John Denver and the Rocky Mountains and stuff. Like, obviously Lana Del Rey's like whole brand is focused around her obsession with the American dream and the sounds of Americana, but this one seems to be kind of exploring a different part of that. Yeah, okay, let's look at the lyrics. Oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like so completely like sold on this album already. I'm fully prepped for it to potentially be like one of Lana's best albums ever. 1, 2, ready. I'm gonna take my mind with you with me. Mine. Okay, say it again. Mine of you with me. Okay, thank you. Like, they get the lyrics wrong. They're practicing. They're rehearsing. It's like they're the girls from the choir who are in the background of the song later on who are practicing the vocals. Maybe it actually was, and maybe she just like caught it on microphone and decided to capture it or something. Lana manages to just do stuff that other people would never think of, you know? Always. So you say there's a chance for us. Should I do a dance for one? Do you think about heaven? Do you think about me? My pastor told me when you leave, all you take is your memories. I'm going to take mine of you with me. It seems to be maybe towards the end of a relationship, or maybe it's after a relationship and she's kind of thinking like, are you worrying about your future? Are you actually kind of thinking I should be developing this family with Lana because maybe that's my chance to do so? And she is kind of saying, you know, actually either way, I'm gonna take the memories and the lessons that I learned from being with you with me forwards. I'm doing it for us, for our family life. I can't decide whether she's deciding to move on or whether she's still kind of hoping that they're gonna have a family together. It certainly sounds like she's getting very existential. My sister's firstborn child, I'm going to take that too with me. My grandmother's last smile, I'm going to take that too with me. It's a beautiful life, remember that too for me. She's certainly reflecting on the things that have happened in her life that she can take with her. It's very kind of like a coming of age kind of, I'm going to actually try and reflect on the important things in my life type thing. And maybe that's going to be the mission statement for the album, moving forward in life, trying to remember the good stuff, you know? Anyway, right, okay, we're going to figure this out as we go, obviously. So this is song number 2. This is Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Blvd, which I've already reacted to. If you want to check out the original reaction, I'll link it for you. I've done like the lyrical analysis and everything on there as well, but let's listen to it in context of the album. Oh, that is so warm, isn't it? I love it.
Tunnel under Ocean Boulevard. Mosaic. When's it gonna be my turn? Tell me.
This visual of like this tunnel that's been like completely covered over, but there's like a hidden beauty to it. It's like a completely unique metaphor, but its meaning I think is very clear, and it's about this kind of like untapped potential and beauty that might never actually make it out.
Reserved only if you have found the door.
Maybe this is like actually kind of a statement of like intent when it comes to vulnerability, because she seems to be saying in this song that there's only a few people that she's ever been truly vulnerable with.
Till I love myself.
I think she's really wanting true love, but like in a place to love herself as well with this person and build a family. And maybe at this point in her life she's worried that those things might not happen.
Someone to give me back.
When's it gonna be my turn? Yeah. Maybe it's like her kind of speaking to society as well. Don't forget me, like, because actually like when women get to their 30s, society kind of tells us that their worth is far less. And maybe she's feeling that pressure and trying to kind of push against it. She's worried about being forgotten, left behind, and unloved. Yeah. Well, the gospel. Yeah, the gospel vocals. Okay, so those women from the first song carry through into this one. Oh, don't forget me. That bit, I love that bit. God, that song is so gorgeous. And really, really heartbreaking, really, isn't it? You know, that's such a strong phrase and something that I think we've all felt at some point in our lives. Like, don't forget me. I don't want to be left behind. I don't want to be left undiscovered, like that tunnel, that beautiful tunnel that was bricked over, you know. And maybe she does feel like she's being let down and left behind by society as a woman in her 30s, you know. I think the story that I'm starting to kind of piece together is this idea that she still wants family, that family life, and she's still waiting for it, you know. Really, oh God, it's so gorgeous, isn't it? So gorgeous. I haven't listened to that song like in a few weeks actually, and it's really quite nice to hear it again and actually to piece together. Actually, there are sounds that are traveling through. Oh my God. Okay, love that. Yeah, lyrical analysis. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'll link my original reactions on the end screen so you can check those out after you finish this one. The song number 3, this is Sweet, Just Like Me. Oh God, that chord. Every time I hear that chord, I'm well, gorgeous. Oh, it sends me. Oh. Oh. Oh my God, the chords are wonderful. Oh.
Wish I could tell you now.
Oh my God, this is giving me chills. All of my hairs on my arms are stood up.
What you don't really understand.
It's like you don't understand who I am.
Some basic bitch go to find.
It's like warning somebody, actually, you know, I'm not going to be exactly what you expect me to be. Oh my God. The use of strings is really taking it to kind of Hollywood, isn't it? Like classic Hollywood. Just another specific American reference, you know.
North Country.
Gorgeous. Oh my God.
Do you want children? Do you want to marry me?
So again, she's talking about children, marriage, but she's kind of saying, you know, I want these things, but I'm not your typical person, you know.
And remember where I'll be.
This is really just gorgeous.
Genesee.
Oh my God, that song, so beautiful. It feels like so far as well, we've like really stuck within the piano and strings place, but we know that the next song, that all kind of goes awry, doesn't it? Yeah, oh, that song, the chords in that song, felt like every single time the phrase changed, there was like a new, unexpected like chord motion that was just making me go, oh. It was so beautiful. And like playing into more of the Americana vibe, her kind of vision for her future family. How old is she? She's 34, right? Maybe this is the album where she's like looking at her body clock and thinking, I might not be able to have children outside of surrogacy or adoption or IVF. And this is what I'm trying to contend with. I know it's something that like the women in my family, my sister and my cousin particularly, have spoken about. They're in their kind of slightly earlier 30s, but it's already something that they're thinking about. You know, they're both single and they both want their family life, and they're looking at their natural body clocks, and there's an anxiety, you know. I think it's something that a lot of men don't appreciate, is that actually as a woman, if you want to have a natural healthy birth, then there is a time limit. Whereas like with men, we have a lot more freedom, especially with gay men. It's like if you want to have children, you have a lot more flexibility on when you can do that. And I think it's something that we don't appreciate. I think all these thoughts are kind of popping up because she is 37 and it's getting increasingly more difficult for her to actually have children. So she's certainly spoken about it a lot, this idea of this family life that she really, really wants to have. Let's look at the lyrics. So, stars in my eyes, hiking up Griffith. Oh, the Griffith Observatory, yeah, I've been there. Wish I could tell you now, I wrote you a note, but I didn't send it because that's the best method the women here taught me about. What you don't really understand. I've got magic in my hand, stars in my eyes. I'm a different kind of woman. If you want some basic bitch, go to the Beverly Center and find her. I'm sweet, bare feet. If you want to go where nobody goes, that's where you'll find me, in the sweet North Country. If I'm not there, come to my house on Genesee. I think maybe it's like a letter to a potential future partner, maybe the person that she was hoping to have a family with. She's like, I'm not going to be that normal person, but like if you want something that's like truly sweet, which is like unique, different, flavorful, different kind of person, the special kind of thing I can give you, then come to me. You know, there's a confidence in it. You know, what are you doing with your life? Do you think about it? Do you contemplate where we came from? So she's getting really existential. Lately we've been making out a lot, not talking about, oh, okay, so it's someone that she's dating. Not talking about the stuff at the very heart of things. Do you want children? Do you want to marry me? Do you want to run marathons in Long Beach by the sea? That's beautiful. I've got things to do like nothing at all. If you want someone, then just call me up and remember where I'll be, sweet in bare feet. You can find me when no one will be. There's this classic Americana thing to the lyrics where it's like out barefoot in the woods, back with nature. Gorgeous lyricism, and the chords kill me. Let's go on to the next one. This is aandw. I did my original reaction to aandw, which is on the channel. I'll link it at the end of the video, in the end screen, and in the cards and stuff. The production on this is so subtle but so lovely. It's brilliantly insistent but like still very quiet, you know?
I've done a cartwheel.
Since I was 9. I've never done a cartwheel. So she's reflecting on childhood at the beginning of this song too, isn't she? Children, her lineage, what she's going to leave on the planet. Doesn't really matter to love me anymore. Does the experience of being an American whore. Maybe I should look at the lyrics again, considering they were wrong when I did them before. Just like this, doesn't really matter. This one does seem a little bit more negative in terms of like finding somebody to settle down with, you know? She's like, it's not about finding anyone to love me anymore. It's maybe just about finding somebody to have a family with and actually settling for less. Maybe that's the fear that she's facing here, you know? I think the real killer thing about this song is the twist, which is so exciting. I love it. At 33, I'm invisible, look how you hold me. She's completely detached.
It's not about having someone to love me anymore. Been an American whore.
Oh, it's just so good, isn't it? The first half of the song doesn't allude to this section at all, but it just subtly creeps in. It's almost like the fear is like taking over, you know? I love it. It's so sick. I remember my first reaction to that. I was like, what the fuck? Jimmy, right.
If you love and love, you can be my life.
Jimmy only love me when you wanna get high. Your mom called, I told her, you fucked it up big time. I love this song so much. Like, so sick. This definitely has like allusions to childhood, right? This kind of chant sounds like a kind of like playground chant, doesn't it? But like remixed. And I think that's really like quite a key thing going so far, is that every song so far has mentioned children or childhood, you know. I've already lost my mind. Ooh. Oh, this is so sick, this song. I can't even cope. This is one of my favourite Lana songs that she's ever done. Your mom called, I told her, you're fucking up big time. Oh, the song is so good. It really is one of her best. Like, it's just so fierce. Like, the opening section is so beautiful and so brilliantly arranged and produced, and the tension building throughout that whole first section is just so subtle and so brilliant. And then the drop just goes somewhere you do not expect, and it is so fierce when it gets there. It's so great. Context being, right, okay, so we've had multiple songs that seem to be talking about her existentialism, how she feels as part of society as a woman, thinking about motherhood, thinking about family. And this one seems to be a much more cynical view of what it's like to be a woman in America. This is what it's like to be an American whore, you know? It's not about finding somebody to love you anymore. It's about maybe just reproducing because that's what's expected of you. I don't know, maybe that's what she's kind of trying to pull apart, but there's certainly allusions to childhood. I have done a cartwheel since I was 9. I haven't seen my mum in such a long time. Looking back at how her grandmother raised her, all these kinds of things, she's really reflecting on that part of her life and reflecting on like maybe how she would be a mother, but she's not. You know, it's all coming together in that sense. Let's look at the lyrics, because last time when I looked at the lyrics, they were wrong. But still, my reaction's still very fun. I scream a lot. Okay, 100 cards since I was 9. Haven't seen my mother in a long time. I mean, look at me, look at the length of my hair and my face and the shape of my body. Do you really think I give a damn what I do after years of hearing them talking? Maybe it's like a reference to like what society think of her as a woman. I think, okay, this American whore. Maybe it's like in the view of society and the lens and the thing that they put on us, making us think that we're overweight, making us think that we're talking from her perspective, making us think that we're like, you know, not worth it because we're too old as women. Don't they realise that I don't care anymore? You know, this is like what it's like to be a woman in America with all these pressures piled on top of us. Call him up, get him into my bedroom, ended up we fuck on the hotel floor. It's not about having someone to love me anymore. This is the experience of being an American whore. Maybe referencing this toxic masculinity as well. Like, you know, all they want to do is just like have this like dirty porn sex, and she's like, I want to be respected, you know? And I feel like women in America are treated as whores. maybe I'm just kind of like this. I don't know, maybe I'm just like this. She's then kind of undercutting her own volition there and thinking, actually, maybe I'm the odd one out. If I told you that I was raped, do you really think that anyone would think I didn't ask for it? Again, this is the position of women in America. They are treated as whores. A derogatory term for someone who is a sex worker. And it's a term that's been used to push women down. And she's like, this is what it's like to be that person who has been pushed down, and it's been called a whore. And actually the grossness of the way in which the man in this story is fucking her on the bathroom floor, you know, treating her like shit. It's like really putting a mirror up to that toxic masculinity and actually saying, no, men are actually the whores. But this is what it's like to be a woman in America. My God, you know, and actually, like, you're not even believed when you talk. If you say that you're raped, people don't believe you. It's like true stories of what it's actually like to be a woman in America. Oh my God, can't believe I didn't realize this is what it was about. Jimmy, Jimmy, Cocoa Puff, Jimmy, Jimmy, I suppose that whole last section is all about like relationships that are destructive and don't work out. You know, he just wants the dopamine hit of having sex and doesn't want true, real love and family, and that's something that she's struggling with. Oh my God. Okay, we need to move on to the next song. This video is going to be fucking huge. It's going to take me years to edit it. Oh God. Okay, this is song number 5. This is Judah Smith Interlude. Maybe this is an interlude by Judah Smith. Is that a crowd?
It means quit lusting after your neighbor. You get to love your children in front of you.
So somebody's giving a speech. I'm guessing this is Judah Smith. Oh my God, my hairs on my arms are all on end. Oh my God, this is really...
Spirit of God says, I'll infuse you with desires in front of you.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God.
Help me want what I got.
Wow. So this is really something that seems to be speaking towards her feelings about the society of America.
So I read you to this verse and I'm done. I woke up this morning.
That's weird. It's like she's watching it. It's like she's watching it and filming herself watch it because you can hear her reactions. Oh my God, that's amazing.
So I get to the verse of the day.
It's stressful though. You know?
Look at the splendor of your skies. When I gaze at your blue fashion.
This is so powerful.
Why would you ever bother, mortal man?
Oh my.
Infatuated.
It's so strange.
Why?
Fuck.
You're the ocean maker.
Yeah.
You're the whale creator. Yet what honor you given to me?
This is really just so powerful and unique. Oh my God, like. And her like laughing at it. I'm not sure whether she's like taking it seriously.
You've made me a partner with you. My preaching is mostly about me.
My preaching is mostly about me. Wow. Oh my fucking God. Maybe it's like a pastor or someone giving like a... Oh my God. And she's just sat there laughing at it. Oh my God. Oh my God. What the fuck? Oh my God. That was like so weirdly powerful and like, but it seems as if maybe she was like turning it and actually laughing at this speech, maybe kind of like from the perspective of a woman watching a man ranting about something. She was like, lol. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my God. I've never heard anything like where I'm so like weirdly moved and like creeped out, and this is amazing. This is really just like the part where I'm seeing her artistry and it really starting to be boundary pushing. This is so mad, so brilliant, and like a real step forward for Lana to do something like this. And like the storytelling is just amazing. She is like, as an artist, she's just going from strength to strength to strength at like album number 10. It's insane, isn't it? Let's look at the lyrics, I guess. I don't know who Judah Smith is. I guess we're going to find out. It means quit lusting after your neighbour. That's the heck of life. You get to love your children in front of you. You have to talk to somebody. I want a new life. I don't love my wife anymore. I don't love my kids anymore. Missing out on life usually at my age. Does that sound like love? Is life dominated with lust? And for too long, they've been holding it up, and finally they just get weak and say it doesn't matter anymore. And the Spirit of God says, I'll infuse you with desires for what you have and what's in front of you. And so she's at this point, she's like, yeah, I'm kind of understanding what you're saying. He's saying like that he's not satisfied with his wife and his kids and his family, which is something that obviously Lana is like dreaming of having. And this man is saying, is every man destined to have a wife and kids, to fall out of love with them and just to be lost in lust? Like, and is it like God's, is this God's plan, you know? You call out to him and say, how could you do it to me, man? Help me want what I've got. Oh my God, help me love what's in front of me. Help me want more of my life and more of my friends. It's about like, I just want to be satisfied with what I have. I can understand why Lana is pretty cynical of this though. Help me, God, I want to be a man in love, not a man in lust. But you got to do that. So I bring you this verse, then I'm done. So now he's talking about the Bible, of course. Lol. It's going to make me sound so superior to us all. I'm looking forward to it. I woke up this morning and said, God said, check the Bible. Look at the splendor of the skies, you creative genius glowing in the heavens. Compared to all this cosmic glory, why would you ever bother with puny mortal men? That little note on Genius seems to be saying that he's like actually like manipulating the text and changing the text. You're the world creator, you're the rhino designer. Who are you, rhino designer? So she's now laughing at him. I used to think that my preaching was mostly about you, and you're not going to like this, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I've discovered my preaching is mostly about me. That is like such an interesting speech to put in an album like this. But I think she's putting it in there because she's watching it and thinking, this guy seems to have it all. He has everything. He has a following of people who hang on every word he says. He can change the words in the Bible to fit what he wants them to be and convince people to believe him. He has a wife, he has a family, and yet he's complaining because he doesn't have everything. But I think as a woman, she's probably looking at it and thinking, fuck you have everything. What are you complaining about? Do you know what I mean? And I think that perspective of the male wanting more, always wanting more, and this toxic masculinity really links into what we've been talking about so far throughout the album, all intertwined with her personal feelings about her being a woman in this society, having to deal with wanting children and wanting love and not having it. You know, it's like phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. This is insane. Let me just quickly Google who this person is. So he's a pastor. Seems to be like he's trying to reinterpret the Bible and stuff in a way that's quite radical, I think, for Christianity. But yeah, I don't think that Lana is really on board with what he's saying. I think she thinks he's a bit of a knob by the sounds of it. Right, next song. This is Candy Necklace feat Jon Batiste. Let's go. Gorgeous.
Wi-Fi, cinnamon on my teeth in that northern town. White noise coming out of my brain for nothing.
Okay, so it's definitely a darker, like continuing the dark tone.
Is my favorite song. You've been restless, and I'm obsessed with it. Been acting
So the candy necklace seems to be a reference to maybe like a childhood thing. Again, you know.
all his candy necklaces.
I'm obsessed with all his candy necklaces. I wonder what that's kind of a metaphor for.
Feeling super suicidal. I hate to say the
Jesus.
the one who's bringing me down. Quest you the best, but baby, you've been bringing me down. Rock up,
Oh.
my baby.
Maybe it's some kind of thing where she's like still obsessed with somebody who she maybe feels like she should have moved on from.
I think that we should address this.
The timing here is really interesting. Like, I love the effect on that piano. It sounds so cool. Like the delays and stuff, really cool. Oh, gorgeous. It's a real classic reference to the sounds and the chords, you know.
I'm obsessed with this candy necklaces.
Oh. Whoa. I'd forgotten that he was in this.
Candy necklaces.
There's a real kind of like darkness, ominous feeling to whatever the candy necklace is.
Candy necklaces.
Mental. Cool. Candy necklaces. Okay, I don't know what these candy necklaces are. I'm hoping I can try and figure it out with the lyrics. That was like such a dark tone, very ominous. Like the instrument sonically seems to be, like using, the pianos and the strings and stuff, but it's much more like lost, very lots of delay, lots of like moody kind of like drenched in reverb, lost in it, that kind of feeling, which follows on after the kind of disillusionment of aandw. That one I don't like as much. I feel like it's not crazy for me at the moment. That's one of the weaker songs, but let's look at the lyrics. Candy necklaces. Oh, I can sing quite low. White flour, cinnamon on my teeth. She loves to talk about cinnamon. Cinnamon in my tea. Every time someone orders cinnamon on top of a coffee in my part-time job, I always think to myself, cinnamon. No one else gets it, but you'll get it. Actually, the cinnamon is actually quite an important thing of like paired with sweetness, but it's actually quite bitter sweetness, Sitting in the stoplight in Northern Town, I feel lucky. I drive somewhere out of range. I don't know where white noise coming from out my brain turns off for nothing. Rockefeller, my umbrella. God, I love you, baby. Storyteller, Us Forever is my favourite song. So she's kind of alone, like maybe escaping real life, but the music on the radio is maybe reminding her of like her need for love and her lack of it. You've been acting pretty restless, dancing like the young and restless. I'm obsessed with it. Candy necklaces. So dancing like the young and restless, it seems to be like a real kind of looking towards being a child, I'm guessing the candy necklaces have some sort of like double meaning to them. You've been acting pretty reckless, dancing in the young and restless. I'm obsessed with all his candy necklaces. Yeah, I'm not sure. Sitting on the sofa, feeling super suicidal, geez. Hate to say the word, but baby, hand on the Bible, I do. Feel like it's you, the one who's bringing me down. Thought that we were cool and we were kicking it. Tribe Called Quest, you're the best. But baby, you've been bringing me down. I feel like the candy necklaces must be talking about maybe somebody cheating on her. And maybe it's like the candy necklaces is almost like the necklaces of all the girls that he's cheating on her with. Because he's calling him very reckless. She's obsessed with him and she's obsessed with maybe the potential of him cheating on her. Seems like she's taking the role who is opposite Judah Smith, Do you know what I mean? Candy necklaces. Interesting. Okay, so it's talking. I feel like it is talking more about toxic masculinity and the state of men and women. Let's look at the next one. This is Jon Batiste Interlude. I love all this sound design stuff. Oh, fucking hell. Gorgeous. God, I love the piano and the bass combo. Really gorgeous. So maybe this is just a musical interlude. It's gorgeous. I really like it. Oh. But there's a feeling of like this kind of like passion coming from the vocals in there though. Almost like a On the Edge of Madness with the music underneath, I love this place where we are sonically. This album is like actually sonically so different for Lana. I love it. I think aandw was really like the first moment that we got a hint of where it was going to go sonically. I just love all this kind of mood that she's creating with it. It's really, really impressive. I love how the piano is like playing in time with the laugh. Dun, 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 dun. It sounds like they've taken this like conversation and they've almost like composed something to go along with it. I'm not sure what the kind of meaning of it is, but it's really wonderful and continues on this like sonic landscape that we're working our way through. Which, yeah, I feel like sonically this is the best Lana's ever been. Like I really feel like I just adore like where it is sonically. I adored NFR. Like some of like the best. It is the best album she's ever done and like the best writing that she's ever done. But I do feel like sonically from NFR through to Blue Bannisters, the experimentation within the production was stripped back. And I think that was like a specific decision. But I'm really, really, really glad to hear her really finding a sound that is unique and different with this album. And this song really, really leans into that and develops that more. Oh, God, it's so good. Next song, this is Kintsugi. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Kintsugi is the Japanese art of like reforming broken pottery using like gold lacquer. You've probably seen images of it online or maybe heard about it talked about online. But it's about taking something that's broken and actually making something that's even more beautiful out of those broken pieces. And there's a lot of different metaphors, you know, about being broken and actually growing from that, all those kinds of things. So I'm assuming that's where we're going to go with this song. Let's go.
Body can't come back from
Wow.
the depth
Okay.
at the chest cavity. Chucky was there for 3 out of 3.
This is so
I
tender.
was there for the one who was closest to me.
I couldn't be there for the one who's closest to me.
Get hard. It's just that I don't trust myself with my heart. But I've had to let it break a little more.
Wow.
That's what it's for. That's how the light shines in.
Through the cracks, through the breaks, that's where the light shines in. Oh. That whistling is weird.
And I'm on the side with my tears streaming down.
Sounds like somebody's dying, doesn't it?
And I just can't stop crying when you see someone dying.
Oh, yeah.
See up your gaze flash in front of you. I'll be with you.
There's the rain on the outside of the house as well. It's really taking me there.
Daddy, I miss them. Things about them.
Oh.
Daddy, I miss them. That's how the light gets in.
It's like she's trying to like find some kind of like form of optimism from something that's so heartbreaking.
There's a name for it in Japanese. It's Kintsugi. How do my blood relatives know all of these songs? I don't know. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in.
Oh.
I miss them. Know that this is how the light gets in. Light gets in.
Yeah. When you're broken, that's how the light gets in. There's so, oh my God, that imagery is so, yeah.
That's how the light
Yeah, no, it's so
gets
gorgeous. And that chord is like the light coming through, you know. It's the hope and the optimism, you know, being able to move forward after like somebody dying, you know. Oh my God. Yeah. God, that was so good. It feels like so far in the album she's been quite existential, like worrying about like what she's going to do with her life, whether she's going to have the family that she's wanted. There's a lot of kind of existential feeling throughout the album so far, like what it is to be a human on this planet. And I think that when faced with death, she realised that there is something greater to it. You know, there's like, actually, by going through grief and by going through like these really hard things, it actually puts so much stuff in context for you. And maybe she's learnt to kind of appreciate life a bit more. But she's also learning to appreciate the fact that when things happen and you do break and your heart breaks. I love that phrase where she was like, and I have to break my heart a little bit more, you know. But like she's like realizes that it's necessary to go through that because that's how you grow and that's how you learn. That's how the light gets in. Yeah. It's really so wonderful. I can look at the lyrics and probably cry even more. So there we go. There's a certain point the body can't come back from. In 1 year, we've learned the turn of the mouth. So I think this is a COVID, the depth of the chest cavity takes. Yeah. Chucky was there for 3 out of 3. So maybe Chucky, this person, got it 3 times. And I was there for the 3rd because I couldn't be there for the one who was close to me. So she's feeling guilty that she couldn't be there for the times that this person was sick. But I can't say I'd run when things get hard. It's just that I don't trust myself with my heart. But I've had to let it break a little more, because they say with that. So it seems like the first 2 times this person maybe was in hospital, she was like, she felt like she couldn't go and visit because she felt like it would break her heart, and she was trying to protect her own heart. But then I think like when it came to the 3rd time, she was like, I have to go. I have to take this step to break my heart a little bit more, because that's actually really important. It's really like touching something deep in me, because yeah, like I've gone through that feeling with people dying and like feeling afraid to like go and see them, because it's really like, it could be so difficult, heartbreaking, you know, but it's really important to go through that at the end of the day. Yeah. I'm sorry guys, it's just really like, got something in me right there. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, like when you think you're kind of like past grief, sometimes it just comes back to you, doesn't it? There's just something that just gets to you and you can't help it. You've got to like let it out. You've got to let it out, because it's so important to actually like go through that pain and go through that heartbreak, so you can continue with your life, but also like build from it. And it's, yeah, oh my god, you have to let it break a little more, because that's how the light gets in. That's how you realise that you love that person so much, you know. So everyone was there, they were standing laughing, and I'm on the side with tears streaming down. There's something about the clutch of the wrist. He thought mine was his to carve into his mouth. We've only got hours, and I can't stop crying because of all the ways when you see someone dying, you see all your days flash in front of you, and you think about who would be with you. And there's Donahue. Who's Donahue? Maybe in a relationship before with Daddy, I miss them. I'm in the mountains. I'm probably running away from my feelings I get when I think all the things about them. Daddy, I miss them. I'm at the Roadrunner Cafe, probably running away from the thoughts in the day. I have things to do with them, but they say this is really hard to get through. Yeah. She's like running away from the feelings of like heartache and grief that she's having to go through. But she's like, but I think she's coming around to the fact that she needs to stop running away from those thoughts and actually just deal with it. I think by the 3rd of March I was cracked open. Finally the ground was cold. They wouldn't open. Brought by the sunlight of the spirit to pour into me. There's a name for it in Japanese. It's Kintsugi. I sang folk songs from the 40s. Even 14-year-old knew Froggy came a-courtin'. How do my blood relatives know all these songs? I don't know anyone left to know songs that I sing. She's at the funeral and she's realising that everybody knows all these songs, and she's kind of now picturing her own legacy. Like, what happens after she dies? Will there be people who will sing her songs, you know? But that's how the light gets in. She knows that she needs to go to the funeral. She needs to crack herself apart. She needs to, like, go through that grief in order to actually move on and to be, like, built back together with the gold in between, you know? Just another folk song. I try so hard, but that's okay. It's how the light gets in. So now she's talking about how she breaks herself open in her music and how that lets the light in. Oh my god. Amazing. I think so far this album is like, I think it might be her best. Maybe. For more than ever. Like, Jesus Christ, I don't know. Like, I've recovered. It's not rolling down my face. Yes, let's move on to the next song. This is Fingertips.
When I look back, tracing fingertips, thinking I wish I'd some small intention, or maybe
Love on the Vine. What song is that? Bartender. Yeah, reference to Bartender.
or will I get to that 10-year mark? If I do,
It's definitely, this whole album is extremely existential, isn't it?
brother,
Wow.
Caroline, will you be with me? You said that my mind to carry a child.
Yeah,
I
she's
guess
talking about
some
motherhood again, right? I guess I'll be fine. Wow.
things that
Maybe she's starting to maybe admit that she'll be alright if she doesn't carry children.
I think it's a tragedy
This is so lovely.
What time
I'm a bit still stunned though, you know.
I was in Monaco, I couldn't hear what they said on the myself 2 seconds to cry.
Give myself 2 seconds. Wow. She seems a bit overwhelmed by everything, you know, and trying to like contemplate things that are really big.
Long hair to the beachside, the fishes that he caught on Caroline. What kind
Ooh.
of Jesus say, time I was running and died away, never to come back. Except I give myself 2 seconds to cry.
Seems like she's really like in a place she's really struggling, but like she's got so much going on that she only has 2 seconds in order to actually just get the tears out, and then she's got to get back on it, you know, continue with her job, with her life, you know.
2 seconds to be.
I just needed 2 seconds to be. Definitely more of like a traditional Lana, like lost in the movement. That one really was like, felt like a mood to lose yourself in. I'm intrigued by this feeling of her being so busy and so like caught up in stuff that she doesn't have time to cry. She doesn't have time to just be and just exist. And so she factors in 2 seconds into her day where she can cry, you know. Yeah, maybe a comment on like what is expected of us within our society and how we're pushed to work and work and work and work and work. We don't have enough time to just be, you know. Let's look at the lyrics. When I look back, tracing fingertips over plastic bags, thinking I wish I could extrapolate some small intention, or maybe just get your attention for a minute or two. Will I die, or will I get to that 10-year mark where I beat the extinction of telomerase? Not sure what that is. And if I do, will you be there with me, father, brother, sister? So she's feeling existential again, another key theme. Will I live past this like 10 years? Charlie, stop smoking. Caroline, will you be with me? Will the baby be alright? Will I have one of mine? Yeah. Can I handle it if I do? It's said that my mind is not fit, or so they said, to carry a child. I guess I'll be fine. So she's kind of like, yeah, dealing with the fact that maybe actually she won't have children. They say there's irony in the music. It's a tragedy. I see nothing Greek in it, like a Greek tragedy. It's just tragic. Give me a mausoleum in Rhode Island with Dad, Grandma, Grandpa and Dave, who hung himself real high. Oh God, in the national park sky. It's a shame and I'm crying right now. So she's thinking of her own death. She's thinking about like where she's going to be buried. To get to you, save you, if I take my life, find your astral body, put it in my eyes, give you 2 seconds to cry. Wow. So there's a sense of like finding 2 seconds to grieve for all those people that she's lost, and kind of maybe grief herself, grieve her future. I couldn't handle it. I was in Monaco. I couldn't hear what they said on the telephone. I had to sing for the Prince in 2 hours, sat in the shower, gave myself 2 seconds to cry. It's a shame that we die. Maybe that's where she actually found out about this person dying, was just before she had to go on stage, and she had to just get it out and continue with her life. You know, it's like really hard. She's going through so many different layers of emotion. What kind of mother was she to say I'd end up in institutions? All I wanted to do was kiss Aaron Green and sit, have a babe at 16, the town I was born in, and die. So she really wanted that traditional life, and it didn't happen, and she's now coming to terms with the fact that she might die without actually having that. And I think all these people dying around her, like family and stuff, is really bringing up all these thoughts in her head. And I think this is quite a key moment for the album, because it seems as if like everything up to this point has been alluding to the fact that she's in a very existential place, but now it's like, this is what happened, and I know I am feeling these feelings, you know. Jesus, let's go on to the next one. This is Paris, Texas feat SYML. Ooh, I love that piano sound. Gorgeous piano playing, oh my God. Really interesting melody that I really like, and I love how it plays with the piano.
When you know, it's time to go. Took a drink this way, just a notebook in my hand. Down in Florence, Alabama.
Gorgeous. Oh, I love that way that was like a whispered harmony.
It's time to go.
I love that she's developed from an artist who's writing gorgeous love songs and heartbreak in NFR to like somebody who's now really contemplating what it is to be human. It feels like such a brilliant new place to hear her go, you know.
Dancing while they're on the floor. Time to go. It seems everything the same. Hello, I call to no one. Then it's California home when you're alone. You're right.
Sorry, I'm so lost in this. Wow. Ooh, dark ending. Gorgeous. I love how that was played. I'm guessing SYML is the person who played the piano, because it's such a gorgeous piano. I was really like drifting off in that, you know, like I went to Paris, Texas, with a suitcase in my hand. I had to leave, knew they wouldn't understand. When you know, you know, when you know, you know, it's time to go. It's time to go. I took a trip to Spain, just a notebook in my hand. Then I went to see some friends of mine down in Florence, Alabama. She talks a lot about running away. She talks a lot about traveling around, maybe in an attempt to come to terms with all these things that she's trying to deal with. But it's almost like, is she running away from those things, or is she actually dealing with them? You know, when you know, you know. When you know, it's time to leave like the summer breeze. When everyone's stars brighter than you are, it's time to go. And you're the only one left dancing while they're on the floor, time to go. It's about learning when things end and kind of like accepting that, maybe. I flew back home, it seems everything's the same. Venice, California, except that you aren't home. Hello, but I called to no one. So maybe she's accepting that this particular relationship that she was hoping would last forever actually is over. When it's time to go, you just need to do it. Move on. Okay, next song. This is Grandfather, Please Stand on the Shoulders. Something. Of my father while he's deep sea fishing. Oh my god.
But they're wrong. I know they think that
Gorgeous.
it took thousands of people.
I love this piano. It's so beautiful and delicate.
Frankenstein black dreams into my song. But
Frankenstein their
they're
dreams into a
wrong.
song.
God, if you're
Oh.
near me, send me 3 white butterflies.
It's like she's looking for a sign, you know.
Of my father while he's deep sea fishing. 'Cause I'm gonna speak body haunted.
This is beautiful. Oh god, I've got goosebumps again. Oh my god. Oh my god.
The last one.
Oh, this is such a beauty to... Feels like she's really finding something, some truth, you know. Wow. I had good intentions even if I'm one of the last ones. That's what she's saying. Please stand on the shoulders of my father. Like, she's looking for a sign, you know. It's like she's looking for a sign that her grandfather is still somewhere, you know, in heaven maybe.
As they intended me to be.
This is wonderful. Isn't it so beautiful?
3 white butterflies, you're near.
Gorgeous. Oh my god. That was wonderful. That was so beautiful. 3 white butterflies to know that you're near. Like, it's like she's hoping for a sign that her father and her grandfather are in heaven and standing on each other's shoulders. I'm not sure what that's referring to. So beautiful. And the way in which it's played, it sounds like the butterflies, you know, like the lightness of the piano and just the way in which it builds up and so passionate and so beautiful. It's just wonderful. I loved that. That's one of my favourites from the album so far. Really gorgeous. We're still talking about death. We're still talking about like this existential feeling. So, 3 white butterflies to know you're near. I know they think that it took somebody else to make me beautiful, as they intended me to be, but they're wrong. I know that they think that it took thousands of people to put me together again like an experiment. Some big men behind the scenes sewing Frankenstein black dreams into my songs, but they're wrong. She's like, I did this myself. I went from nothing to who I am, and it's all my own power. God, if you're near me, send me 3 wet butterflies or an owl to know you're listening, sitting while I'm drinking. Grandfather, please stand on the shoulders of my father while he's deep sea fishing for sharks in the Pacific. What does Genius say about that? Yeah, Genius seems to be saying some like really interesting things about like how it's them looking out into the water and seeing their reflection, and maybe that's what she's talking about, the image of them together looking at themselves, the reflection of their life, and her reflecting upon her own life and her own potential passing, and kind of like hoping that maybe she can find some sense of happiness, I think. And I think she's finding that happiness in what she's built for herself. I'm good in spirit, warm-bodied, a fallible deity wrapped up in white. I'm folk, I'm jazz, I'm blue, I'm green. Regrettably also a white woman, but I have good intentions even if I'm one of the last ones. She's really looking at herself and saying, I actually do think I have some good qualities. I'm not perfect, like I'm a fallible deity, you know. She's like, regrettably I'm also a white woman and I will make mistakes of uneducated mistakes, you know, but I have good intentions. It took somebody else to make me beautiful, wonderful as they intended me to be, but they're wrong. 3 wet butterflies to know you're near. Looking for a sign that actually this is all supposed to be the way it's meant to go. Jesus Christ, this is really wonderful. Okay, we need to keep pushing through because this is a long album. This reaction is going to be so long. It's already at 1 hour 50. Let's go on to the next one. This is Let the Light In, feat. Father Jon Misty. Father Jon Misty is one of those people I've heard of but never really got into. A lot more like heavy, loose guitar sounding.
Pick you up at home 2:45. Get drunk, do it over again. Pick you up at night 1:45. Don't be acting like I'm the kind of girl who can sleep. I'm gonna go. I just might have.
Okay, I like this. Sounds a bit more settled, a bit more relaxed, you know.
Let the light in, 'cause I wanna come in.
Sounds about like letting in the good stuff, you know, like girl, let the light in, you know, relax and let me love you, maybe.
Pick you up around 1:45. Go and record some of the song. I'll be right up the song. Let the light in, light on.
Oh, gorgeous. I love the strings in the background as well. It's like kind of almost like an encouragement, isn't it? Like, pick yourself up, let the light in, let the good things come in and carry on, you know. Maybe she's not running away anymore.
With the TV on the flowers in the place by your head. Take your light
I'm really lost in the mood of this one. It's really like much more settled, much more relaxed, much more like, it's got sadness but also hope to it, you know. They're gorgeous. Ugh, wonderful. Oh, I love it. Beautiful. God, that ending's so wonderful. I love the chords where that went. Like, it really does feel like a sense of like healing, starting to find some healing. You know, obviously like Kintsugi was like the moment of like realization that you have to break yourself in order to heal again. And this one feels like maybe someone's, like an old friend or someone is tapping on a window and saying, you know, come on, open up. We're here for you. You know, it's okay. You don't have to go through this alone. And that's the song felt like, that kind of warm embrace, you know. And maybe Father Jon Misty kind of almost like represents that friend, you know. It's quite nice in that sense. Let's look at the lyrics. Pick you up at home 2:45. Ask if you want to get something to eat. Drive around, get drunk, do it over again. Wake you up at night 1:45. I can never stop, wanna have fun. Don't be acting like I'm the kind of girl who can sleep. Like, she's going a bit wild. Because every time you say you're gonna go, I just smile. Because babe, I already know. You know I got nothing under this overcoat. Ooh, let the light in. At your back door yelling because I want to come in. Turn your light on. Look at us, you and I, back at it again. Maybe it's like someone that she's in a relationship, kind of in and out of a relationship with, maybe. Usually we've got nothing to do, screw it. Maybe you should go and record some of your songs. There's so much riding on this life. And how we write a love song. God, love song still makes me cry when I hear that. I love to love to love to love to love you. I hate to hate to hate to hate you. Put the Beatles on. Light the candles, go back to bed because I want you. It's like maybe she's trying to like make this relationship work, and he's maybe saying, you just need to stop trying and just let it in, just let me in. You need to be vulnerable with me. Stop being that tunnel under Ocean Boulevard and actually just open up and show me your beauty and be vulnerable with me. I think that's kind of the centre of it. After having gone through like some like earth-shattering events, maybe she's starting to realise that if she is vulnerable with those around her, she'll find love. Let's go on to the next one. This is Margaret feat. Jack Antonoff. Bleachers. Ooh. Very quiet intro. These subtle horns seem to be referencing NFR. You know,
It's a
gorgeous.
simple song. He met Margaret on a rooftop. She was like, I might be in trouble. Yeah.
That's really cute.
Should I jump off this building now or do it on the double? Baby, if your love is in trouble.
Maybe if your love is in trouble. It's kind of sweet, you know.
When you know, you know.
Words on my friends.
So she's referencing the Paris song, like When You Know, You Know, but this time rather than the end of love, it's the beginning of love, you know. Hello, Jack. I'm not convinced about Jack as a singer, if I'm honest.
Baby, if your love is in trouble.
Maybe he's like representing the boy who's in love with Margaret, yeah.
When you know, the diamond on your ring.
I love the texture of the acoustic guitar over like the wash of it. It's very subtly produced, but I really like it. Oh, lovely.
When you know. So if you don't know, don't give up.
Okay, so she's got some learnings here. Wow, Jesus. Don't give up even if you don't know what you're doing. Maybe tomorrow you'll know. Oh my God.
Hey, let's waltz this out, cause when you know.
I really wasn't expecting her to take this album to a place of like real existential, like learning from the death of a loved one and managing to find your own way forward by accepting that actually we don't know everything, but maybe tomorrow you'll know a bit more, you know? Yeah.
When you know.
Oh. Wonderful. Oh, the production here is gorgeous. Oh. It feels so beautiful, and it feels like she's really found some level of catharsis and learning, and it's really coming through in the sound of the song, you know? Wow. Really slow intro and really slow outro. I loved that. That was gorgeous. That was really gorgeous, and it felt like the culmination of maybe what she's learnt so far, you know? When you know, you know, but when you don't know, maybe tomorrow you'll know, you know? I love all the wordplay there. Really, really gorgeous. And such a beautiful way to kind of like actually find some sense of healing. She sounds so much happier in the way that she's performing it. Those little spoken word bits were so wonderful. You could really hear like the brightness in her voice compared to where we kind of were earlier in the album, which was, you know, feeling like disenfranchised with the country and her, you know, position in society, dealing with grief and death and feeling extremely existential, but then being able to find a place of like relinquishing the fact that actually maybe you don't know everything and being okay with that. It feels like such a beautiful place to take this album and to take the storyline. I'm just like so impressed with how she's put this album together. It's like so beautiful, and like for me, like she's really come into her own as a songwriter for me, like from NFR onwards. And NFR was like the classic breakup, heartbreak, like horribly heartrending heartbreak album for her. I feel like she knows where she is as an artist and has so much more confidence, and so for her to be in that place and then to tackle an album which is about life, it really is astonishing to hear. I adore it, and like I'm so happy that she's going there. I need to plug my camera in because it's gonna die because this album is so long. Let's look at the lyrics. This is a simple song, gonna write it for a friend. My shirt is inside out, I'm messy with the pen. He met Margaret on a rooftop, she was wearing white, and he was like, I might be in trouble. He had flashes of the good life, he was like, I should jump off this building now, or should I do it on the double? So it's like love at first sight, like meeting someone and just being like, oh, I think this might be it. Do I jump off this building, or just do I do it even quicker? Because baby, if your love isn't trouble, like it's kind of, you're gonna be trouble. You know, I like that. When you're good, it's gold. Because when you know, you know. It's like when you're in love, you know that it's real, you know. Words aren't my friends, but they're red flags, they're white knights, they're black eyes and they're blue lies. And if you're asking yourself, how do you know? Then that's your answer. The answer is no. Actually just trusting your instinct about what's right when it comes to love, and kind of reflecting on like Lana's friend and Margaret, and kind of thinking, actually, you know, this is what it's supposed to be like, you know. So if you don't know, don't give up, because you never know what the new day might bring. I love the idea of like relinquishing the fact that maybe you don't know, but being patient, you know. I love that. Lovely. Next song, this is Fishtail. We're getting there.
Don't you dare say that you'll break my head, baby. You wanted me sadder, skipping rope in the bayou.
Okay, so more references to childhood again there.
Wish I could skinny dip inside your mind.
I wish I could skinny dip inside your mind. I love it.
You wanted me sadder.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we've got the trap leanings coming back in unexpectedly. You wanted me sadder.
Baby, if you care, baby, don't you dare. Problems, I failed to address them. Palm trees in black and white.
The black and white palm trees, that's a reference, isn't it?
Painting red flags green.
Stop painting red flags green. I feel like she's learning things. Love the production in this. It really kind of like went somewhere slightly different. I love that synth in the background, that's gorgeous. I love how like this one's kind of become like more affected and more like kind of broken down. It's reminding me more of like the aandw side of the album. Actually, aandw I suppose is split in two, right? The second half of aandw.
Coming home to me.
Oh, gorgeous.
I'm not that smart, but I've got things to say.
Wow. So many of these songs feel like they could be the last song of the album. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I've got things to say. You wanted someone sadder. Maybe she's letting go of something in the relationship. Yeah. I like that where that one went in terms of the production of it. That one seemed to be closer to the second half of aandw, whereas a lot of the ones in the middle seem to be close to the first half of aandw, you know. So it's like that kind of balance between the two styles seems to be kind of part of where the album's going sonically. Let's look at the lyrics. I couldn't make out a lot of that. Don't you dare say that you braid my hair, babe, I don't really care. You wanted me sadder, Fishtail, what's the matter? Fishtail in the hair, I guess? Skipping rope in the bayou, slip softly into rain. Not that smart, but I've got things to say. Palm trees in black and white. Oh yeah, no it wasn't. Oh yeah, I clicked on that on Genius. I was thinking it was aandw, but it wasn't actually. It was when I did Lizzie Grant, when she was talking about the black and white palm trees. I like to watch them sway. You're so funny. I wish I could skinny dip inside your mind. I love that. That's such a cool lyric. Lately I've been thinking about how things used to be. Swinging in a nightgown underneath the old oak tree. Almost Victorian with you. You can talk at me, but lately I can see you wanted me sadder. So I think maybe she's framing this relationship in a way that's a little bit more, she's got a bit more perspective, because she's like, I've been thinking about how things used to be, but actually I feel like as much as I was looking at that with rose tinted lenses and thinking, you know, actually it was great, actually you wanted me sadder the whole time. For me, you are the one, and if I'm not the one for you, don't you say it. I was on the stairs, Ella Fitzgerald in the air, feeling hella rare, but don't you dare say you braid my hair. I wonder what that's about. Let me know what you think about all these songs, what they mean and everything, because obviously my interpretation is just one. But yeah, there's a lot of references there to a childhood again as well, like that idea of someone braiding their hair. It's like what you would do for a child, you know. That definitely seems to be key in terms of the theming. Let's go on to the penultimate song. This is Peppers feat Tommy Genesis. Ooh, I like the blooms. Okay, so this is Jimmy Jimmy Cocoa Puff reference. Same place as that. Cool. Skinny dipping in your mind again. I'm in love. Okay, so maybe she has found it. Oh, I love it. I love that kind of rap going on underneath. The production of this album is so cool. It's like really like such a unique space, but it is so coherent. I think that's what I really love about it sonically. Okay, we're at the point where we don't care about tested positive for COVID anymore. Oh, she actually referenced COVID by word. I don't think I've actually ever heard anybody do that.
Hands on your knees, Angelina Jolie, let me.
Interesting. Sounds like she's trying to explain a song to someone. There's the same snare sound as in aandw. I think this is an intentional link to aandw with this song.
Hands on your knees, Angelina Jolie, let me put my hands.
Hands on your knees, I'm Angelina Jolie.
Hands on your knees.
I like that. The rhythm in that is really cool. Okay, where are we going now? That was cool. I loved the production of that one. Every single song has so much depth in it, like sonically. I feel like I'm going to be listening to this over and over and over again for years to come, discovering new sounds, you know. It's like so well produced in the way that the whole album feels like it exists in one world and separately from her other work, you know. A lot of her other albums, I feel like sonically were in a similar place, especially like when you think of like Lust for Life and Honeymoon and that kind of era. Now it feels like this album is like completely sonically its own thing, you know, and I really love that they've paid so much attention to that side of the production. Hands on your knees, I'm Angelina Jolie. Hands on your knees, Angelina Jolie. Let me put my hands on your knees. I love that. You can braid my hair. When she was saying, don't you dare braid my hair, maybe that was about a previous relationship that wasn't working, and now she's found something that is actually working, and she's like, oh wait, now I know this is how it's supposed to feel, you know. Me and my boyfriend listen to the Chili Peppers, Red Hot Chili Peppers. We write hit songs without trying, like all the time. I take my clothes off, dance naked for the neighbours. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna give a show. I open up the blinds. That's so fun. Get on the bike, take a minute to yourself, skinny dip in my mind. So that was when she was saying before, like, I want to skinny dip in your mind, like I really want to get vulnerable and get into your headspace. She's now actually inviting this other person in, which she wasn't doing earlier on. Do you remember when, like, in that song where it was like, let me in, girl, let me in? Like, now she is. I'm in love, got a knife in my jacket, honey on the vine. I got a truck, I take it for a midnight drive. Yeah, boyfriend tested positive for COVID. It don't matter. We've been kissing, so whatever he has, I have, I can't cry. You know, I'm all in. You know that song Wipeout? Yeah, dance type of song. It's like talking about where the song's gonna go. Yeah, I really like that. And it feels as if, like, after, like, having gone through all these things where she feels like she's had to break herself open, learn so much about herself, she's actually managed to find somebody that she loves. And I think it's in letting herself be vulnerable that she's actually been able to get to that place. Yeah. Oh my God. Before we go into the final song, I'm actually going to change this little segment. Here are a list of all my patrons. These guys are all supporting me over on Patreon. One of their perks is getting their name in the video, which I've now moved to this placement. If you want to become a patron, you can do so. Some of the benefits include getting your videos early, getting them completely unedited so you can watch the whole reaction without any cuts in any of the songs or anything. In the upper tiers, you can even actually request songs or even a full album for me to react to. So yeah, the link is in the description and it's probably in the top comment. You can actually watch this video completely uncut if you want to watch that as well. And if you're new to the channel, then make sure to subscribe as well and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Every time you interact with the video, leave a comment, watch another video, share or like, it helps in the algorithm. So please do all those things to help me and help the video. Right, okay, final song, let's do it. This is Taco Truck X VB. Sounds like a slow, slightly more somber place. Maybe it's a relaxed place. It's kind of rocky.
Boyfriend down taco truck.
Okay, so this is where she met her boyfriend, in front of this taco truck.
Actually gave a fuck.
Funny. Imagine if we actually gave a fuck. It's like the relinquishing of the control over things, you know?
I've gotten better.
Ah, cool. Ooh, nice. I love where this has gone. I love the pace of this.
I know
Nice.
that you hate me.
Okay. I love that synth as well. This level of distortion on it's really cool. Cool. It feels like sonically that this album has really managed to merge the kind of ballad side of her artistry and the more kind of like hip hop leaning side. aandw being like the key moment of that, you know. Can't deal with my hair today.
I had this dream where
Signing off Bang Bang Kiss Kiss. Oh my god. Oh baby crimson and clover. Oh my god, as if she's like just put a different song at the end of this album. I was Venice Bitch, of course, yeah. Sorry. Oh, Venice Bitch. As if there's Venice Bitch at the end of the album. What the fuck? Oh, /VB, Venice Bitch. Okay. Okay. So there's a specific reference here. Maybe she's really bookending this experience of love with, like, Venice Bitch, you know? Venice Bitch is maybe I think it is actually my favourite Lana song ever. Everything forever. I do, you little Venice bitch. Really reinterpreting the Venice bitch. Yeah. Maybe she's looking back at how she thought she was in love during the NFR era and actually thinking, oh wait, this is what it actually is. This is the real thing, you know? Yeah. Amazing. I love that she's remixed this. This is so mad. Who does that? Jealous of your love. Amazing. Just so good. Wow. Oh my god, what a place to end the album. Madness. Was not expecting that. I think it's so fascinating though, because like she's making specific references to earlier in her own love life. You know, she's like, I actually tracked my love life throughout all these other songs. So how about I actually bring it back and actually look at this new love that I found with the frame of reference of when I thought I was in love before. For me, it seems to be like, you know, if you weren't mine, I'd be jealous of your love. That was very much like her in a place where she thought she was completely in love, but then she was heartbroken in the end, wasn't she? So I think that she's looking back at that song and actually thinking that person who originally wrote Venice Bitch is jealous of the love that I have now. I think that is really what she's trying to key in on, because now what I've got is real. What I thought I had then wasn't real, but now I know, when you know, that this is real. Lyrics first, and then bloody fucking hell. I'm gonna, yes, talk about this whole album as a whole. Met my boyfriend down at the taco truck. Pass me my vape, I'm feeling sick. I need to take a puff. Imagine if we actually gave a fuck. Caribbean blue and sweater weather, I'm falling into you. Although it seems I've gotten better, I can be violent too. You know, it feels like she's got to a place where she's happy with this person, but you know, it's not always going to be like that, you know. That's a reference to Paradise, right? That's why they call me Lanita. When I get down, I'm Bonita. Spin it till you whip it into white cream, baby. Print it into black and white pages, don't faze me. Yeah, so let's actually make this official. I'm ready for that, you know. Before you talk, let me stop what you're saying. I know that you hate me. Margaret Qualley, honey, I got up so early and then I got into the shower. I was just able to go back to sleep for an hour and a half. I had this dream where, I don't know. Sounded off Bang Bang Kiss Kiss. The dream. Oh, so it's like almost like she's transitioning into the dream, and the dream is her thinking about Venice Bitch, I think. It seems as if she's like reminiscing about what it was to be in love about Venice Bitch, and then it literally goes into Venice Bitch. It also seems a bit of a reference to the one where she was like finding 2 seconds to cry, like in the shower, like that kind of thing. Get high, drop acid, never die, not tonight, like Placid. So it seems as if she's really like looking back at what that time was with perspective and actually thinking, no, actually that wasn't what it was. As much as I can like nostalgia rose tinted glasses that moment, that wasn't actually the truth. It shattered. The dream shattered, and now I can actually look back at that because I have the perspective to look back at that and see it for what it was, and see who I am now and where I am now, which is a much more stable, happy place. Guys, I mean, obviously I've got to listen to it a billion more times, but this might be the best that Lana's ever been. To create an album that has such depth and nuance, but also gets really so vulnerable to the point where she is really dissecting what it is to be human after going through grief, but then describing her journey to actually find a place where vulnerability is actually the best place to be. And in being vulnerable, in breaking her heart open, she has let the light in, she's let the people in, and she's managed to actually find love. After having gone through all of that, she can look back at those earlier days and think, actually no, it's better now. The dream of that time is shattered. the way in which she kind of really digs into like the reasons why she is the lowest low, like, are really enticing too. Like earlier in the album, she's talking so much about existentialism, you know, her body clock, worrying about not being able to have a family and have a real love that she was always wanted, looking at the state of women in America and how they're treated, and looking at toxic masculinity. This all kind of seems to set up the fact that she's in a place where she feels completely disenfranchised and lost. And then on top of that, she then loses somebody that she loves, or maybe multiple people that she loves, because it seems as if like her grandparents and her father and Dave, there's 4 people there that she mentioned that died. That pain and actually her actually coming back for the funeral was enough for her to actually let all those feelings out. All this building up at the beginning of the album, it was all let out in these like floods of tears. She allowed her heart to crack, she let the lights come in, and she learnt from that. And throughout the rest of the album then, she's piecing through the wreckage and putting herself back together piece by piece, but learning that actually it's in being vulnerable with other people that you can actually, you know, learn something. She's finally revealed the tunnel and under Ocean Boulevard that felt trapped, but the way in which to get to the tunnel under Ocean Boulevard was to crack through the surface, to crack through our heart, to make our heart break, and to let the light in. All these different metaphors add up, don't they? And now she's finally learned that actually in order to let that beauty out, she had to be vulnerable and she had to be broken and she had to build herself back up again. It's like, fucking hell, like it just works on so many levels. It's so intelligent. It's like the most intelligent piece of music she's ever done. Like lyrically, it works in so many different ways and tells this full story, and is so vulnerable. It's just absolutely wonderful. Insane. And I love the production on it. I love the way it sounds. Just the sonic landscape of it is just really wonderful, interesting, unique, completely unique. I can't get over it. It's wonderful. I think I'll have to do a ranking of Lana's albums at some point, because like I need to decide within myself whether I think this is the best one. But yeah, I'd be interested to know what you think. Oh my god, the camera is so wonky. If you want to check out my original reactions to the first single, Did You Know That's Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard, and to aandw, the links are on the screen for you. I will see you soon for another video. Bye.